Hey there, welcome to day 1177 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. And this year, probably a little bit back and forth. I think I'm going to do some offline things as well as online things this year. Why? Because I miss doing offline things. I miss doing the brick and mortar, real world, what I call real business things. And I've missed it over the last couple of years. I'm like, well, whoever said I couldn't still do those things? Nobody, except me. Of course, we are always our own biggest blockade, our biggest stumbling block, our biggest obstacle and hurdle that we need to overcome in our lives, and especially in our businesses, but in pretty much any area and aspect of our life. We think there's other things outside of us that are stopping us and preventing us from doing the things that we want, but it's always just us. It's always something inside of us is saying, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm scared. I don't deserve that. Why would I do that? That's too hard. We make up all kinds of excuses and reasons, and we dress our excuses up as reasons, and they sound rational to us, and we convince ourselves. Our subconscious will continue to serve us up an infinite number of excuses and reasons, but they're always just excuses, things that we use to placate ourselves instead of beating ourselves up for why we're not doing the things that we know we should do. So, slow start this morning, messed up my morning routine, and whenever I do that, it just messes me up in certain areas and aspects. And so what I want to do, and I'm going to do as soon as I'm done with this video, is just a little reboot. Erase, start over, and reboot, and just restart my day, and pick up on the couple of things that I missed from my morning routine, do them so that I get back on track. Or I'm just going to go for a nice walk, although I think it looks rainy outside, and I don't like going for walks in the rain these days. It's hard on my achy joints. So I say pass on the rainy walks and pass on the snowy cold walks, and I'll find something else to do. But I think I just need a little time outdoors to reboot, reshift, and restart my day in a way that works best for me. So what are we working on? We're working on, of course, the challenges, the 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that centers us. And today was all about, there's two types of people in the world. People that you lean on, and people that are leaners, and people that lift other people up. So I think we all fill in both roles throughout our life at different times. Sometimes there's situations and there's things going on in all of our lives that we need to be able to lean on and be supported by other people. We need to pay that back and remember that when we're strong, when we're doing all right, we need to help and lift up and support other people as well. So that was our challenge, to do one thing every day that centers you. Doing that this year. 2021 is my year to actually just figure out what makes me tick, what works for me, what doesn't work. And I realized that my morning routine works for me. It makes me feel better. It keeps me aligned. It keeps me going in the direction I want to go. And I need to do that. I don't have to do it every day, but I do notice that I get a little off, and certain things will throw me way off my game. And I don't need to let anything throw me off my game, right? I know better than that. But that's another example of how we undermine ourselves in a lot of different areas and situations in our life. Our Supersize Your Business challenge today was our idiom, our expression, our what does this mean and how can I use it in my business, was on the same page. So how do you get on the same page with respect to whatever it is you're doing? In your relationships, we need to be on the same page in our relationships. I've learned that with respect to our relationships, it's a lot easier to find people that you have things in common with, same core values, same principles, same morals, same values, same beliefs about key areas and aspects of your life, than to think that somebody that has different values, morals, beliefs, feelings, did I say morals, will change theirs. They're never going to change theirs, right? Learned that lesson in my marriage, that we had similar core beliefs, and I thought we had a very good core belief match, but there were a couple of things that he didn't have as core beliefs that I do that were deal breakers. And so after 25 years, I got divorced. And maybe I didn't do a good enough job screening my candidates when it came to picking a spouse, but that's one of the lessons that I needed to learn in my life, and we all have those. So with respect to our relationships, we want to be on the same page with people. Well, the same is true in our business and in other areas and aspects of our life. We want to make sure that we're aligned with people in the ways that matter, and we're open and flexible enough to be diverse in the ways that don't matter. There's a lot of things that don't matter with respect to our businesses and our lives. As far as I'm concerned, in my business, it doesn't matter what race, religion, political persuasion, belief in a lot of areas, people are. It just doesn't matter. What does matter is, do they believe in truth and honesty, and are their core values a match for what mine are? Those are the people I'm going to coach and I'm going to work with and I'm going to consult and I'm going to help. People with different values and morals with respect to those key areas, I'm not going to coach, I'm not going to work with, I'm not going to consult. Remember there's only been one job in corporate America that I took that I realized after I had been there for a year or so that there was an undercurrent of a core value that didn't match my core values, my principles, my beliefs, my thoughts, my feelings about business and how business should be done. And of course, as soon as I figured that out, I left that business. But they did a really good job of covering up their ethics. Let's say ethics and morals it was an ethics and morals mismatch. It was how business should be done, and it didn't match. I think business should be, you do the best you can for everybody and your customers that you can, but you're also very honest with them. You under promise and over deliver, and that company did just the opposite. The sales folks in that organization promised the world to our customers, and our customers were global players, and so it was a big deal to me that they promised them everything, even things that we weren't technologically capable of delivering. And when you do that, guess what? That causes problems for everyone else in the organization, as well as the organization you make the promises to that you can't keep. And for me, that was a deal breaker. That was I tried to help fix that in that environment. It wasn't going to get fixed. It had been culturally built in, sell at all costs and then figure it out after the fact. Well, some things were literally physically impossible to do and figure out and deliver on. And so I was like, no, you guys are on your own. I did the best I could with you. Here's what I showed you. Here's what I told you. If you don't, it doesn't work for me. And so I moved on from that organization. But only one in corporate America. Have I worked with people and have I hired people, and have I been partners with people that I found out later, obviously, my marriage, I had a business partner who was absolutely one thing on the surface, diametrically opposed on the who he was, what he showed the world versus who he really was. Totally different things. And we find that we stumble across it every once in a while, especially because it's a lesson we need to learn. It was a lesson I needed to learn. I needed to learn that you can't trust everybody. Everybody isn't who they pretend to be on the surface, which I think was preparation for me coming online, because nowhere else, and I'm sure it always happened in the offline world, but it wasn't so available and easy, and the barrier to entry was higher, and so it wasn't as prevalent in all of our lives. The whole fake it till you make it, the whole people that are actually faking and selling things that they have zero experience in. So many people just regurgitating other people's information and selling it over and over and over again. It's nauseating. People that have never really done any of the things that they're teaching other people how to do, and they're charging them, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 to teach people something they've never done. And again, another lesson that I had to learn. My ex-husband and I had a very high-ticket real estate coach, and early on, this was offline before the internet. Well, I guess the internet was around, but it was early on, and it wasn't. I guess I did find him through the internet. I take that back. I found him through the internet, and we found out that these real estate coaches were, they'd done one or two things that they then blew up into this big program that they were teaching people for high ticket, and they couldn't deliver on their promises. Now, we did great in that program because we knew we were going to figure it out, because we had invested in a coaching program. So unlike other people, we didn't lose money in that particular endeavor, but we did get a huge lesson in checking out and researching and finding out and making sure what you see is what you get. And that's not always the case, especially on the internet. There's so much, and it's so prevalent. It's kind of like phone, when they used to have the phone scams where people would call up on the phone because that's all they had. It's a lot like that. It's like your buyer beware. What you see isn't necessarily what you get. So look into it and make sure what you're getting is what you want. So on the same page. I don't know, I got off on a tangent there, but on the same page. We have to make sure that we're on the same page in our relationships, in our businesses, in our life, right? Are you on the same page with yourself? We have these goals. A lot of us set goals and objectives and things that we want in our life. But are you actually moving toward those things that you want? Are you on the same page with, the bigger version of you that wants things and goals? So I'm beating myself a little bit up about this today because this weekend was kind of a wash. Spent a lot of time with family, but didn't really do a lot of the things that I had mapped out and planned and wanted to do over the weekend, which is always fine, right? Sometimes we have to give ourselves a break and cut ourselves some slack and not beat ourselves up over the things that we didn't do, the choices we didn't make. There's this whole belief that there's missed opportunities and FOMO, which is a lie, right? It's an absolute false belief and lie. There are always infinite opportunities and possibilities swimming around each and every one of us at any moment of time. And it's just whether we're willing to see them and grasp them, take advantage of those opportunities, or pursue those opportunities, or take action toward those opportunities or not. That's always up to us. So we've got the 365-day challenge. We've got the Supersize Your Business challenge. Oh, Get Up and Go challenge. Today we hopped into the financial arena. We're using the SOAP framework to install and guarantee that we get better results after any change or challenge we face than before we face that. And we are on the S, the story and the situation, and the fact that we create our own story. We create our own story of what is happening right now and what we want. And the rest of the SOAP framework fills in that gap from where we are to where we want to be. So today we talked about how we can create our own story. Remember the old create your own ending or create your own storybooks? I used to read them to my kids. Goosebumps had a whole series of them, and some of the books in the Goosebumps series were the create your own ending or choose your own ending or make your own story, and they would have pages and different routes that you could take through the books, and depending on what choices you made throughout the story, a lot like our lives, would determine the ending, would determine where you end up. So we talked about how you can use creating your own story and understanding and realizing that we always have the power to do that, to look at where you are right now, your situation, your story, how are you describing it, and then what do you want it to be, and then how do we start filling in the gap over the next couple of days. So that was our Get Up and Go challenge, day 19 of our 30+ day challenge. I'm getting ready to travel for several weeks, and so I need to start really nailing down the details of that. I haven't done it yet, and again, over the weekend, that was part of my plan, and I'm beating myself up for it, but I'll get on it today and throughout the rest of the week. If I can help you in any way, any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow to talk about day 1178 of What's She Up To Now. Have an amazing day. Catch you tomorrow.